Mama Seaton's Whistle. The first whistle happened one day when Skippy Seeton was 2 years old. Mama Seaton came to the door to call him in for dinner. He wasn't there. Mama Seaton was puzzled. From the kitchen window she had been watching him play. She stepped into the backyard and called again. No one came. Mama Seaton was worried. And that's when it happened. Without even thinking about it, Mama Seaton puckered her lips and whistled. It was not a loud whistle or a fancy whistle, just a simple 2-note whistle. But to Skippy Seaton's ears, it was too wonderful to resist. He popped up and piped, "I'm here, Mama." He had been hiding behind her the whole time. Every day from then on, Skippy Seaton came to dinner when he heard his mother's whistle. And that's how it was when little brother Sheldon came along, and brother Stuart, and finally a sister, Sophie. Whenever the Seaton kids heard the whistle, they came running from the backyard, and from their friends' backyards, and from the Bestwicks' living room, where they sat on the floor watching TV. For these were the old days when only one family on a block had a TV. Every day Mama Seaton baked a chocolate cake. Every day by the end of dinner it was gone. As the Seaton kids got older, they played farther and farther from their own backyard. They played in the alley. They played to the end of the block. They played all the way to Stony Creek, then across the creek and into the park. But they never went farther than Mama Seaton's whistle. It always found them and called them home for dinner and chocolate cake. As the Seaton kids got older, they traveled to all corners of town. Skippy Seaton rode his bike to the north end, where he snacked in his favorite mulberry tree. Sheldon Seaton rode his scooter downtown to visit Papa Seaton, who was a driver for Radio Taxi. Stuart Seaton rolled his skateboard to the park, where he made friends with the monkeys in the zoo. Sophie Seaton ran, but she didn't go anywhere in particular. She just loved to run. And every day at dinner time, Mama Seaton whistled. The whistle wasn't loud and it wasn't fancy, but it went in all directions. It flew through the talk of people and the noise of cars and buses. Always it found the Seaton kids wherever they were, and home they came, biking and boarding, scooting and running. Time passed. The old days became the new days. When the Seaton kids grew all the way up, they left town, because that's what grown-up kids do in the new days. Skippy Seaton went north, where he became a forest ranger. Sheldon Seaton went west, where he became captain of a ferry boat. Stuart Seaton went to Africa to make the acquaintance of mountain gorillas. And Sophie Seaton? Well, Sophie went everywhere. Sophie ran marathon races all over the world. Of course, they were all too far away to come home for dinner. Every day Mama Seaton went to the back door, but she did not whistle anymore. She still baked a chocolate cake, but only once a week. Time went by as time does. "Our nest is empty," cried Mama Seaton. Papa Seaton tried to cheer her up. "Not really," he said. "We 2 old birds are still here." Mama Seaton smiled, but it was a sad smile. She missed her children. Of course, the Seaton kids missed their mother, too. They wrote to her and sent pictures. Every day, at least one letter came through the mail slot in the front door. But for Mama Seaton, it wasn't the same. She longed to touch a face, not an envelope. Time and again she said, "I miss the old days." One day Papa Seaton looked across the dining room table and saw that his wife had not touched her dinner. He had an idea. He helped her up from her chair and led her to the back door. "Okay," he said. "Whistle." She gave him a look. "Are you goofy?" "Not at all," he said. "If you just pretend it's the old days, maybe you'll feel a little better." So Mama Seaton whistled. She had to try 3 times, for she was out of practice. The whistle was not loud. It was not fancy. Just a simple 2-note whistle. But pretending did not make Mama Seeton feel better. No pretend children came running down the alley. All she felt was disappointment. She went back inside and took a nap. While Mama Seeton was napping, something happened that no one has ever been able to explain. Her out-of-practice whistle flew down the alley, through the neighborhood and through the town, across the country and around the world, until it found every one of her children. Skippy Seeton came down from his treetop ranger lookout. Sheldon Seeton docked his ferry boat and left the first mate in charge. Stuart Seeton waved so long to his furry friends. And Sophie Seeton veered away from her race and headed for the nearest airport. Soon all 4 Seeton kids were cutting up chocolate cake and laughing with Mama Seeton. And Mama Seeton's days were both new and old, and she was happy once again. Time went by as time does, and now the Seeton children have children of their own. And when they call them in for dinner, they do it with a whistle. It is not loud, and it is not fancy. Just 2 simple notes that fly through the talk of people and the noise of cars and buses until they find every one of Mama Seeton's grandchildren.